Thank you for sharing this. Not working. Okay. Good morning, all. I'm really privileged and honored to be part of this session. Uh, Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh Babu, for having me here. It is really an honor to be among these esteemed guests. Everyone is a
Venkatesh Babu,
student.
sir.
Uh,
Participants, please use only the chat. Participants, please use only the chat. Sir, continue, sir. Narayan, sir, please continue.
Yes. So thank you really for this opportunity. In this session, you're all experts in teaching, and you've been professors for a very long time. So I'm not going to tell what you have to do, but I was a student once, and then I moved to the corporate world. In the last 15, 16 years, I worked with many corporates. We as a company in Chrysalis, we work with close to 300, 350 companies in total. So we have, in our consulting business, our major role is to understand problems of companies, because companies are running their business. When there is a problem, they call us. So our only perspective in any company is to see where the problem is. Problem is not always a negative connotation, but problem, anything where you're not achieving the desired results is a problem. So our eyes always go to the problems. So from a problem perspective, we've seen 300, 350 organizations. So today I'll be sharing some of my experiences in connection to young engineers. So that will become a point of point of work, a point for institutions to groom young engineers. So I will be sharing my experiences throughout. So that is what I'll be doing, and I'll be sharing whatever knowledge I've gathered in the last 15, 16 years. Yes, sir. Yeah, before going to the slides, generally we feel that there is a great saying that any beautiful thing is created twice in a world. I hope some of you would have heard this. Any beautiful thing in this world is created twice in the world. So, any beautiful thing, you take an aircraft, you take a beautiful house, beautiful building, the Palm Jumeirah Islands, whatever it is created twice in the world. How it is, what I meant is one is in the creator's mind, then the actual creation. So any beautiful thing in the world is created twice. So so the one once the creation is very clear, crystal clear in the creator's mind, only then the creation will become perfect. So in this session, we will try to understand what a student should think while he's stepping out of college and going to the corporate world. First is his mind should be clear. To make his mind clear, we all should be clear. The professor fraternity, the teaching fraternity should be clear in how to groom the candidate for the corporate world. Everybody have different talents. Every person is different. So there are certain roles that will suit somebody. There are certain roles that will not suit somebody. So to make his mind clear, his mind should be of complete clarity. To make his mind of complete clarity, the teaching fraternity should have a lot of clarity on what the candidate is going to encounter. So with that note, I would go into the presentation. So let's fine tune that thinking today. I will do my part to whatever extent possible. This is a brief about our company. This company was started about 16, 17 years before. I joined them about 14 years before. I've been in almost, I was their first consulting employee. I've been in almost all their projects. Of course, I studied in Bharat Institute. Dr. Venkatesh Babu was my professor that time. So I studied, and then I did my MBA, and then I worked for a food processing company. Then I joined this company. So in this company is where majority of my learning came from in the last 15 years. So can we go to the next slide, sir? These are the projects we work on. So we help manufacturing companies improve their manufacturing capability. So capability, where what we mean is improving productivity, improving quality, improving cost, reducing cost. And then another strength of our company is strategy consulting. We've helped 100, 200 crore companies to achieve 500 crores, 700 crores turnover, because Growing is another big problem that companies, business is there. Everybody is ready to give business for a company which is having good productivity, quality cost. There are a lot of business chasing them. But while growing, they're facing a lot of problems. They're not able to grow. So through our strategy consulting vertical, we help companies, we handhold companies, put structure systems, and we help companies grow to the next level, graduate to the 500 crore, 700 crore level. So strategy consulting, operations improvement, then other allied services, transformation services, mergers and acquisitions, training, market research, and staffing. These are the services that we do. And we'll go to the next slide, sir. These are some of our clients. So we've learned, so clients is where our majority of the learning comes from. We've learned from, we worked with 50,000 crore companies, we worked with 10,000 crore companies, we worked with 100 crore companies, we work with 10 crore companies also. So every company on their own, they teach something to us. That is how the body of knowledge is created. So here we also contribute a lot of knowledge to them, whatever we've learned from other clients. And there we happen to grow and train thousands of engineers. These are the people who implement our suggestions in the ground. So we have a daily working relationship with young engineers. So I will share some of the problems and some of the solutions, how these young engineers can be groomed to the industry. Yeah. Going to the opportunities available, I'll start with the opportunities available for in industry for engineers. Yes, sir. Yeah, these are the career options. There are, see, I can go on listing industries one after the other, but some of the promising and growing industries are mentioned in green. Of course, IT is everybody knows today. A middle income family is talking about their experience in US or Europe is largely because of our IT and ITES. We cannot forget the role that IT and ITES played to uplift the average working Indian's life or professionals' aspirations. So that is something that is there, which is continuously growing. The world is improving, and everybody is moving to IT. Even now, Zoom, WebEx, all these are showing increasing usage. So IT is always there. Electronics, again, it is picking up momentum after it in conjunction with mechanical engineering. Industry 4.0 is lifting up the electronics. Electronics is closely related to the latest devices that we have. So most of the machines are becoming smart. So electronics and industry 4.1 is another other driver for the electronics industry. There are a lot of career options. There are a lot of, if you look at Sriperumbudur, Flextronics, Foxconn, there are a lot of companies, Samsung, Salcom. So a lot of companies are there in that belt as well. And in manufacturing, of course, automotive, I'm explaining in detail in the next slide because it's a huge industry to cover in one slide. And there are a lot of electrical, of course, electrical will be companies like GE and their ecosystems. Electrical is a big ecosystem by itself, but it's not growing to a great extent. It is saturating. Home appliances, India is known for making about 7 million washing machines every year. So that is the size of the home appliances market. So that's a huge market. I mean, this is just washing machines. Imagine refrigerators, all other ovens, all other home appliances. So Samsung is there in Chennai. So a lot of, again, good companies and their ecosystem. If Samsung is there, there will be a chip supplier, there'll be a sheet metal supplier, there'll be a carton box supplier. So all these companies in the ecosystem is another target company for the candidates. And the power energy sector, again, there is windmill, there is power, and there are boiler companies like BHEL, Thermax, and there are consulting companies like Avantgarde, TCE, Fishner Consulting. So each ecosystem by itself has a lot of companies, and there is a huge demand for engineers. Boilers companies, I think the great example is one company called Sita Vessels in Trichy recruited a lot of engineers for drafting. That's how the whole drafting thing started. So there are a lot of companies in boiler industry as well, which again caters to the power sector. Commodities again is saturating, but yes, very, very marginal growth. You cannot target to enter into a Tata Steel or Jindal Steel. I mean, they're all saturated. They're all taking care of their employees very well. Very, very few requirements come in. So, and then garments and fashion, again, it's growing every, Tirupur, for example, Tirupur's export output is alone 30,000 crores. And it's largely, but generally engineers don't join a garment company because they feel that it's not for them. But technology is improving. Everybody is buying sophisticated machines, refined machines. They are all importing machines. So there is a need for a lot of engineers in that sector as well. Footwear, I mean, one of our clients is a footwear company. There is this listed company called Relaxo. That company alone is about 3,000 crores. Bata is another 3,000 crores. So footwear, we don't know. I mean, we just ignore that market because it's very small. We know, I mean, one of our clients, this company called VKC, they are making about 4 lakh pairs of chappals every day. So that is the volume. And again, all these companies, they have all sophisticated machines, largely automated machines. Again, need for engineers in operating as well as maintaining machines are a lot. And again, food processing industry, it's completely automated start to end. You just have to give the ingredients. And again, that the amount of packaging foods that is the industry is growing at a very rapid pace. So that industry is again calling for a lot of engineers. And there are other sectors, chemicals, oil and gas. These are all relatively saturated markets. Not much requirements come up, and they are all so they're all recruiting in a very standard method. Oil and gas, chemicals are all capital intensive industries, so not new companies are there. So look at this point below. See, my suggestion is target companies in the sectors that are fast growing. For example, machining. Companies that are, a lot of companies that are buying CNC, VMC machines and machining and sending parts to all these major companies. So there are sectors, precision parts, again, a lot of business moving into India. Then high value assemblies. So these are some of the industries that are fast growing. So like this, look at companies that are, see the information, if we are willing to search in the internet, there are information available, because when somebody is fast growing, money will chase them. You will see private equity companies investing, you will see venture capitalists investing, you will see their share price going up. So whichever industry is growing, money will chase them. So if you look at if you Google, if you do a little bit of research, you will definitely be able to zero in on which are the sectors which are fast growing, which are the companies which are fast growing in that sector. And then target companies that are into exports. Why I'm telling this is, when a company is exporting, it means that their quality is of very high level. Because companies, when they're planning to source from India, it is after ignoring China, after ignoring companies in countries in East Asia, and then they are sourcing in India, which means that if they are exporting, they are of international standards, international quality. So engineers will have a very good learning, and mostly export companies are quite profitable. So their future growth is also guaranteed in that way. And then target companies that are making their own products. Why I'm saying this? There is a big difference between B2B business and B2C business. In B2C, let's say you're buying a washing machine, you're buying a bike, you're buying footwear. You do if there is a poor quality product, you don't call up your Hero Honda and tell that, sir, there's a bike problem, or you don't call up Maruti and tell that there is a problem in my car. The feedback doesn't go. You don't tell them every day. Whereas in B2B business, for example, if Maruti is having a problem with its supplier, or Hyundai is having a problem with its supplier, TAFE is having a problem with supplier, they go and tell them, boss, your delivery is not on time, your quality is not up to the mark, your cost is quite high. So they go and talk. So B2B business generally gets feedback. B2C business don't get feedback, which means that the vulnerability of the business is very, very high. So tomorrow you're not happy with the footwear, you will just quietly shift to another footwear. You will not even tell the company what the problem is. So B2C companies have to be very, very careful, because they at the outset it is very simple, but they are in a very, very tough situation, because customers shift just like that. So B2C companies which are making their own products, they will grow, and their quality, their learning will be very high. So companies whichever are growing, please target them. That is how you can increase the number of candidates getting placed. And then, sir, we'll move to the next slide. Yeah. And expanding on automotive industry alone. See, automotive industry shows the world how to manufacture. I mean, in the whole India's manufacturing capability today, why Kia has come, Peugeot Citroën has come, why so many companies, Daimler has come, why so many companies are coming in the last 10 years is because India's manufacturing capability is very high. Majority, it's largely because of Maruti. In the 1980s, they started bringing in some practices, and there were some joint ventures like Hero and Honda, Bajaj and Kawasaki, so and Maruti and Suzuki. So all these joint ventures brought in knowledge into India. So automotive is the leading industry in manufacturing. They are at the center of the evolution. They bring in Industry 4.0, starting from Ford's Model T in the 1900s to Lean, which is created by Toyota in the 1980s to today. So it is all the auto companies that is are the forefront of manufacturing. So engineers, one is they have a satisfying career here, and there'll be a huge learning if you are even in the periphery of the ecosystem. So auto companies, apart from OEMs, OEMs, of course, they have their own way of recruiting people. You can still approach. I'm not saying large companies will not recruit, but chances of them getting recruited is say 1%, 1.5%, because they already have an established method of recruiting. Whereas the next set, see, I'm talking about the top car makers, bike makers. I'm even adding earth moving, farm equipment, construction equipment as automotive because it's related, not technically into automotive, but they are again making machines that can move. So all these industries, if you look at bikes, India is making about 15 lakh bikes a month. We have TVS Motors, we have Royal Enfield here. I'm not saying you target them, but they're suppliers. Huge number of suppliers are there. Yamaha is there. Huge number of suppliers they've brought in from Japan, and they have best of suppliers from India setting up shop in Oragadam. India makes about 4 million cars. Trucks, again, Ashok Leyland is here. Daimler is here. The truck capital is here, actually, for Ashok Leyland and Daimler is here. Earth moving equipments, okay. Caterpillar is here. Companies are here. Farm equipment, again, TAFE. Construction equipment, again, Schwingstetter, Greaves, a lot of companies. So all these companies, their ecosystem of suppliers could be a target company, because all these companies buy from, each company will buy from at least 400 suppliers. Okay, and their suppliers, the tier one, will have their own suppliers. See, I'm not talking about the TVS group or the big group. I'm talking about the next level, the medium scale companies. They're all growing. They're all current generation. They're all growing. Very good growth opportunities there. And if you look at auto component makers, there are many commodities: casting, forging, machining, rubber processing, plastics, sheet metal, proprietary. What I mean is where the technology belongs to them. The customer just gives the drawing and takes the product. For example, Bosch, or for example, MRF, or any tire companies. The automakers give their requirement. They have their own technology of making the product, and so they make and give it to the OEMs. So these companies, all these companies are really a good potential. So, and if you look at the workforce in making a car, 90% of the workforce is in the supply chain. So this is a good industry to target. Yeah. Still in, yeah. Okay, concluding the opportunities, my request to all of you is target the untapped market, which is the SMEs, small and medium scale enterprises. Okay, even I put a quote of Jack Ma, who's saying that before you're 30, work for a small company, learn passion, and learn to dream. See, in a small company, in a big company, let's say for Maruti or Royal Enfield, to meet the MD in a year, probably in a large annual gathering, you would have met the MD. Whereas in a small company, you can meet him every week. So there you can watch the very closely. You have the freedom to work. You can try out things. So the learning quotient in SMEs are enormously high. We've seen many engineers starting their career. In fact, in my batch also, many people started their careers in SMEs, and they're flying very high. They're all in leading automotive companies today. So uh, untapped market is the SMEs, and they contribute about 45% of India's manufacturing output, and they're a great place to learn. They offer freedom to work. Important point why I'm asking you to target them is they don't spend time in recruitments, because somebody gives reference, somebody knocks their door, they interview and they take it. They don't put efforts in properly recruiting, and they are generally hesitant to approach education institutes because they feel that they're very small. One company, for our company, why should we go to companies, or why should we go to campus recruitment? Is a big word for them. So they are little very conservative, and but they are very well growing. So I would suggest you can approach these SMEs. But of course, one great thing is they're not great paymasters, and the work environment may not be as sophisticated. But learning, I can definitely guarantee. Yeah. Next slide, sir. And one more point here, sir. Yeah. Can you put the next button, sir? There's one more point. Yeah. So how to approach is one is approach industry associations. All these industries have their own associations. So one is to approach the industry associations or approach consultants or any influencers who have a hold where that company trusts them. So through them, and you can also write to them. So that is another way of approaching. So that is about career opportunities. Target manufacturing, target SMEs, that is a conclusion of career opportunities. Now coming to industry expectations. Yeah. So yeah, industry expectations. Here, I'm only classifying whatever may be industry. I'm only classifying manufacturing in companies in two types. Yes, sir. Next. One is large. Another one is called small and medium. So there are only two types of companies you can enter into. It'll be either a large manufacturing company or it'll be a medium or manufacturing company. Large manufacturing company also, I'm not talking about their turnover in India. For example, we know many multinational companies, European companies who have very small operations in India, but they still behave like a large company. They have their own structure. They have their reporting person in Europe. They recruit only one or two. They have their own standards. They have their own evaluation criteria. I'm not so large companies operate in a different way. Small and medium companies operate in a very different way. I've just listed down what are their expectations from young engineers. Okay, large companies, first is yes, they expect knowledge, they expect intelligence, they expect awareness, they expect the person to the candidate to be serious in work, and they expect a little bit of personality, language, and communication. So this is how the large companies expect. Coming to the small and medium companies, which I'm suggesting you to target, their expectation. Okay, I'll go on. See, these companies expect attitude. These companies expect people to work with minimal supervision. So these are these companies. Hello, yeah, yeah. So these companies expect guys to have quick learning capability, and they want guys to have a go-getter attitude. See, they don't want person to when a junior engineer is joining, they want him to be a go-getter, not like they want him to be like a Saravana restaurant, not like a Subway restaurant. I mean, what I mean is, in Subway you go and ask something, they'll say what bread, which vegetable. So they'll ask you 10 questions before you decide on a product. Whereas if you go to Saravana, you ask for a dosa, they'll give you a dosa. If you ask for dosa, you say that I asked for a masala. No, sir, you didn't mention. You asked for dosa. Dosa means to us it's plain dosa. That's all. So they are go-getters. So they expect small and medium scale companies expect go-getters, and they want people to quickly learn, and they want people to work with very minimal supervision because they don't have the time, they don't have the large organization structure to mentor people, and they want people with people skills, interpersonal skills, and they want people to be self-driven. They are not in the job to motivate. They're not, unlike a large company where they cannot arrange a big company where they cannot motivate. They cannot call Sadhguru or anybody to motivate them. They don't have the resources to do that. So they want people to be self-driven, and they want people to be of reasonably good knowledge. So knowledge comes last. If you look at, they are recruiting a person, not his knowledge. Whereas large companies largely recruit knowledge with a decent person who can be groomed later. So these are the broad difference. So next slide again summarizes something similar, but where are engineers scored? So next slide, please. Yeah. So okay, anyway, these are the, if you see here, I don't mean to complain anything. I'm talking about majority. I'm talking about how 70-80% of the engineers who are coming out, what are they? See, you knowing this. I don't want to reiterate this. You must be knowing this, but it is largely depends on the candidate. So I've just summarized where they are weak in. See, basic engineering knowledge, they are decent, but definitely needs improvement. But that is we consider for a fresher, that is their strength. Ability to learn things quickly. very weak. They don't know what their interest area is. When we ask them, what is your interest area, what is your interesting subject, many people don't answer. And if they answer, if we ask one question, see, one way to test a candidate is to ask him interesting subject or to talk about his project. These are very simple things because he has done it. He has mentioned in his resume, and when we ask something about it, he won't answer. So such type of weak interest. See, when somebody is not able to answer a question is in interested area, this company is of no interest to him. The company is of least interest. How can we expect him to perform? So ability to learn things quickly is something that is required. Seriousness at work. I can see these guys. They complain about working long hours. If a young engineer goes after 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, they say, "Sir, yesterday I went only at 8 o'clock, sir. I'm not able to come today morning." So their seriousness at work, passion at work. If that seriousness and passion is there, you won't complain about long working hours or you don't complain about heavy workload because that's what you enjoy. And so that is something that is reasonably there, not much. Ability to work under minimal supervision, again, that is weak. Ownership and commitment. So these are the points I thought I should just touch upon before recommending what to do for an institution. So the next set of slides, I've suggested what we can do differently to change this situation. Now, how to address these gaps and groom an engineer for the industry? See, suggestion is leave off the top 20% and bottom 20% guys. Top 20% guys, both in terms of, I'm not talking only about marks, in terms of awareness, there'll be a very interesting cousin for him or his father or his network, whatever it is. The top 20% always, they are self-driven, they are motivated. You don't need to tell them what to do. They are quite sharp. You have to just guide them. You don't have to groom them. So you have to just guide them. You can do it. The bottom 20%, they're yet to realize what they want. They're too busy with themselves or they're yet to discover themselves. So better not to waste time there itself. But the middle, the remaining 60% of your students, they are a typical from largely a middle income family. They want to do engineering, they want to do something, but they don't know what is that something. They have a lot of wishes, but they don't have practical dreams. They only have wishes. So this 60% is my suggestion. 60%. Once the 60%, top 20% is anyway taking it. So so this is the, I mean, I just found this comic in the net. So middle income, top 20% is ID in first mark, bottom 20% is white, who are who are easy to get more. That I feel we should target because those are the people who form the mass workforce of today's industry. Yes, sir. Next slide. So I'm going to suggest some of the please ignore if it is not applicable. I'm going to suggest some of the changes that we need to do in grooming these engineers. See, we've come across a lot of engineers. It's only we always feel that okay, if this quality is there, this guy would have done better. Because of this, a lot of conference room discussions that we had. Based on that, I've put some 5 to 6 points on how to groom these young engineers. First point, see the winning attitude. See, I've put a Dhoni's photo because we draw a lot of examples from sports and war. After 1940s, there is no war. It's only so war and sports is where there is only one winner, and there is always. I mean, everything is a level playing field. You cannot ask for a discount. You cannot ask for boss. I'm a small country. Give me some other cushion. You cannot ask. Usain Bolt cannot say that I'm from Jamaica. I'll start 50 meters earlier. So nothing. So in war and sports, you have to win, and if you have to win, somebody else have to lose. So this winning attitude, we always draw a lot of examples from sports. So that's the reason I put Dhoni's photo. Most of the engineers feel comfortable with mediocrity. Prove them that they can win. See, many of the engineers, once they step out of college, they are like they are shapeless. They join a company. They just go to work, come back. They don't have the drive. They don't have the rigor to win. So this is something that we can partially see. You cannot see all these suggestions. What I'm telling, you cannot make a 20 score guy to 80, but you can definitely make a 20 score guy to 60 to 80 and 80 to 95. So that is all. That is why these suggestions I'm giving. So first is seed winning attitude. How we can do in an institution is, yeah, sir, you can click the next one. The point, small, some simple assignments throughout the year. There could be some, give them a lot of winning opportunities. You know, very small things could be part of the regular work. For example, somebody's 100% attendance, on time submission, somebody's submitting always on time. Give them some appreciations, give them some, put them in the list saying that these are the people who have submitted all these assignments in 100%. So the previous slide, please. I'm in the Hello, sir. Hear me?
Sir, the previous slide is there.
Yeah. This slide, yeah. And I'm even suggesting that give them 100. See, in companies, we call it Kaizens. See, when we implement Kaizens, employees improve drastically. Suddenly, they feel that, see, somebody has rewarded my idea. So, what they feel is, I'm able to think. I'm a good thinker. So suddenly they realize that they are a better person in that one is somebody else have to prove them. So in institution probably could be 100 rupee vouchers, or I'm not discussing the method, but I'm just giving some examples. So find opportunities to celebrate with students, identify their good things, let winning become a habit for them. Recognize consistency. Another important activity is many of the engineers who are coming out are not consistent. They change job in 1 year. They are not tough, they're not able to perform consistency. 5 days they perform consistently, they feel that some company has to do something great for them, so they start having their expectation. They don't value consistency, they value consistency, they expect something in return for consistency. So so recognize consistency, recognize special skills, of course, that many institutions are doing. Have interdepartmental and intra-departmental games and sports events. See, what I'm saying is, give them in the 4 years, give them a lot of opportunities to win and celebrate. So this, when they go to a company, they always search for this winning reasons. Some job is interested to me, I will do it. I will do it the best way possible. So that attitude is, we are seeding to the extent possible. Yeah. Next one, sir. Next slide, sir. Yeah. Next slide is about in healthy habits. So next slide, please. Yeah. So here, what I'm saying is, generally, when an engineer is out, whichever company he joins, whichever society he moves into, he works in Tamil Nadu, he works in Delhi, he works in Mumbai, he works in Europe, he works in US. Wherever he goes, he acquires those values into him, and then he behaves. That shapes him. So if you see engineers after 15 years, there you have a large. You can see a large influence in them because of their company and the country where they worked. I'm saying it should be the other way around. They should be at the core. They should not have changed. It should be some values have to be embedded in them at institution level itself. Why we put an army photo is, generally in army, if you see people join from different background, different socioeconomic background, different education background, but when they come out, ex-army men are all the same. Their discipline levels, their discipline levels, their patriotism, whatever it is. I'm even talking about people who have spent 4 or 5 years also. There is a definite change. I'm not saying we cannot achieve that level, but that is insight that we can draw from there. Something which is practiced, that's what they'll become. So healthy habits, working with a broad daily schedule. Many of the engineers, I mean, even in our company, when we ask people, what do you do in weekends? They said they won't come up with one, two, three. Point number one, point number two, point. They will never answer like that. "No, sir, last weekend I met some friends. It is always shapeless. They don't plan how to spend their time. I mean, when they have 3, 4 hours, time just takes away. I mean, you check some WhatsApp messages, you check some Facebook, and then you go for bed. That's all. So time just takes away. So instill some basic habits. There should be a no compromise me time. They should say, I mean, the previous madam, Dr. Vasuki Rameshi, she was talking about sharpening the me time is all about that. Me time is you have to prepare yourself for the next stage, next stage, next stage. So instilling healthy habits like daily reading, current affairs, these are when you're talking to somebody in a flight or in train journey, if there is something other than your college, other than your company, can you talk about something else? That is what defines a person. So that worldview is very, very narrow for guys at the moment. So let us instill some healthy habits. So this is something that I wanted the institutions to do because these are all just expectations. Yeah. Yes, sir. Next slide, sir. Healthy habits. And the third one is, okay, sir, next slide, please. Yeah. Interpersonal skills. Oh, this is another area where many of the engineers have to improve. Engineers generally they feel they should not talk. They always have a fear that if I talk, somebody will form an opinion. I may go wrong. What if they think I'm silly? This is there in everybody. And okay, let's say on one side this submissive attitude is there. On the other hand, when somebody questions them, when somebody tells them they are wrong, they take it personally. They don't take it professionally. They take it personally. So this interpersonal skills is a reason for many poor bosses in the current scenario. So engineers have to deal with their bosses. They have to deal with other departments. They have to deal with suppliers. They have to deal with customers, investors. A lot of stakeholders are there. They have to put up themselves as a professional. So that again is not there. I mean, how an institution can build this to have a team culture. I mean, we would suggest that I don't know how institutions operate right now. Form teams. Always have teams. Every activity, don't give it as an individual, give it as teams, so that one is the team bonding is there, and even if two guys fight with each other, next day they have to talk together because of the team activity. So they try to overcome problems. So even again, Dr. Vasi was talking about depression, stress. It's only because they're always moving as individuals, they are not moving as team. And throughout their corporate career, they are going to work as team. Either they are part of a team, or they are leading the team, or they are leading teams. That's how it is going to work. So they have to have very strong people skills. See, we've seen people with great knowledge are not the one who are growing up the ladder. People with great knowledge and excellent people skills are only moving up, because even if you have great knowledge, if people don't want to work under you, then there's no point promoting that person. So interpersonal skills is a key for any engineer to grow up in their career. So improve people skills. So we want this classroom activities where everybody does it as a team. So in that way, one is people skills is improved. Another one is everybody tries to share their work, and it forces interaction. There are people who are shy, I mean, I know somebody in my class who never talked at all. I mean, I would have heard few words from him, never talked. So this will force people to interact. This will generally lift the average of the class a little up. So this is the third point I thought I'll recommend. Then the fourth would be help acquire ownership and commitment. Sir, please, next slide. Uh, Industries are generally unhappy with engineers.
Sir Narayanan sir, sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. We are running short of time, sir. You have last few minutes, sir. You have another 7 or 8 minutes, please.
Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll touch these points and go to the last section. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you can. Then you can. Yeah, we can move faster, sir. Next slide is on ownership and commitment. Yeah. Generally, engineers. Yeah. So next slide, please. Yeah, ownership and commitment. Generally, young engineers, they are largely dependent on superiors, whereas small companies, they don't have the time to supervise. They want people to be on their own. So generally, we have to that ownership and commitment. Again, how we can see this is uh, one is give them some responsibility. I'm even thinking aloud that everybody can become a class pupil reader for 1 month on a rotation, so that just to test the leadership capability, and then have a session on introspection with the team based on the team activities, plus how you're doing. You're not talking properly, you're not indulging properly. So some introspection and some team activities, and then some small task would definitely instill this. Yeah, I'll move a little faster. The next set is awareness and exposure. The next slide, sir. Yeah, awareness and exposure. Again, as I talked about, many companies expect people to be broader worldview. Many people don't read, they don't consume news, they don't do anything. So, which means that their worldview is small, very narrow. So, people don't take him seriously. They only see him as a boy, not as a smart professional. A professional is able to talk on any topic, that at least able to build on a topic that we're talking about, or able to quickly understand. So to have better, so I'm suggesting some methods having debates again lot of creates a lot of thinking in people. They try to counter, they try to articulate their own thoughts. So debates again create a lot of interesting things. And then accept projects only if it is from companies. This is another important thing. See, many people are actually pretty weak in projects. So please do not accept projects. Yeah, some noise. Yeah. So, many people, I mean, please accept projects only if it is done in companies. That is the best way to, create a good engineer, because they know, they have a sense of how a company operates. They have visibly seen. So the things are not anymore imaginary. It's actually practical for them. They know, because when we recruit engineers, guys who have done projects in companies, we give a lot of preference, because I don't have to tell him how a company operates, because he's seen in his project. He knows how a boss will respond. He knows how a subordinate will respond. He knows how other departments will respond, how quality production interacts, all that he knows. So definitely accept projects only if it is from a company, and then get feedback from the company and ask the candidate to work on it, because that feedback is very, very important. Because when a company, when they're dealing with a lot of people, they will definitely give feedback on where the candidate is good and where he is not good. Yeah. Then coming to the last part is knowledge. Of course, knowledge, sir, please don't worry. The knowledge is definitely decent. Some amount of practical orientation is required. Otherwise, their knowledge is decent. So, and knowledge is the last thing that we expect from them, because, and large companies anyway, they put together a GET program to impart all this knowledge if there is a special job required. And then finally, I'm saying assign a mentor. Every student should be, let's say, a group of students can be mentored by a student. I don't know whether it's happening or not, but this puts the ownership on the professor also, just to tell that, okay, these are my 5 students. I have to somehow, lift them up. That definitely rubs on them, because every professor is a bright mind. It's you've seen a lot of things, so that rubs on them. That gives them some amount of orientation before joining, and gives a lot of moral support. Yeah. So I'm rushing these slides. Okay. Now coming to the place. Just I thought I'll just mention quickly, because that will be of some interest here. Yeah. Next slide, please. First is I'm suggesting to create a batch profile, which again many institutions do, some don't do. So a batch profile, one is it shows your preparedness, plus it gives a quick view of what kind of guys are there in the college, how many what kind of electives they've taken, what are they good at, what are they generally, what are the kind of projects that people have done. So which means that this is my class knowledge. So that is something there. And be in touch, write to companies continuously, invite them for competitions, conduct some amount of small competitions. There are many companies, many people who want to be associated with education institutes for some other, because everybody wants to contribute, because everybody is from a college. So after going to the corporate world, they always feel that they should do something to their institution. So that is something. Offer pro bono projects and internships, because no company will refuse something that is free. And especially small and medium scale companies offer something pro bono. I mean, take up a project, solve it for them. They don't mind trying. But if it is a success, they will definitely come back to you, and they feel obliged that they should do something for you. And that is the time you send candidates for work to them. So you tell them that you can recruit my people. So they will be happy to recruit. And it will also give a flavor of how good the students are. And another thing is understand client requirements and find a match, not the other way. I mean, people say that I have so people in dispatch, but it's better to understand client requirements and then work on that. See, sir, for your company culture, your value system, for your type of work, these are the candidates who I feel are suited. So give them a short list and give them recommendation. That gives a lot of confidence, and they will move a little faster. Then meet timelines as promised. Companies may miss one or two, but please bear with them, because they may have some surprise customer visit, which is out of their control. Then encourage candidates to be natural. Many candidates, we feel that they answer like a tape recorder. They want to because it's very difficult. See, everybody in an interview wants to see the inner person, not the cover that they are putting outside. Whatever artificial answers is the cover that they're putting inside. We want to see the actual candidate who's inside. What does he do in weekends? How does he deal with people? How quickly he gets angry? Yes, sir.
Narayanan sir, last 2 minutes, sir. You are done. It's almost 12 o'clock. Last 2 minutes, please.
Fine. Okay.
Participants, please don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah.
Last 2 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Gather feedback and communicate. So that is the next one is next slide, the last slide. What do we do in this COVID situation? That I thought I'll just put some points. One is be in touch with companies, of course, offer attractive alternatives. See, today's job, I've heard many companies are cutting salaries close to 50%. Okay. So I'm saying offer attractive alternatives. Let's say that, boss, you take my candidates. Of course, if the candidates are well placed, no problem. I'm talking about other candidates. Give them 3 months free work. See, my candidates will be working. You start paying them after 3 months. I mean, it's not that we are offering anything free. It's only we are supporting the industry in these tough situations. So in these 3 months, the candidates, the company experiences the candidates and maybe offer them a job and upskill candidates to suit industry requirements and approach, and of course leave the companies for 1 month because at the moment they are pressed for their essentials. They're in tremendous pressures. Leave them for some time. Be in touch with them, but approach them for recruitment after some time. And in future, next 2 months, many companies will run short of people. That is an opportunity for you. And take up small projects on automation and engineering. So these are things that you can do in this. Sorry, I had to rush, and I wish I had some more time to explain all this. But these are the things I thought institutions can do to have a relationship that can move towards recruitment in the next couple of things. Companies who are holding recruitments, please don't worry. They have a plan. Large companies, definitely, they'll have a plan for it. They will definitely come back. With close, of course, these three people, many people, 90% of the people won't know this. These are the people actually behind these gentlemen, Usain Bolt, Dhoni, or the World Cup winning fans. So there's a coach behind every performer. We want the institutions and the professors to be that coach who grooms people, not just imparts knowledge. So with this, I'll close. My contact details are in the next slide, sir. A little fast because I had to cover a lot of content. I thought I should, because you're all really people who know the industry, so I take the opportunity much faster. Yeah, I was a little fast. Yes, sir. Thank you,
So,
Dr. Venkatesh Babu, for the wonderful opportunity. Really honored, sir.
thank you.